After I left, let's do it again.
I know them having that. They seem like but I know I should be stressing that.
Good, no.
I mean, I work my ass off when it comes to marriage. Always that. But like, I just sometimes trying to learn out of it. Because that's what happens. Here, my face that doesn't happen. Like, now that this is bad, but this is that this won't come up. I wish you were out.
It's a good school.
It's good.
I
It's more I
know.
wanted to go to.
I did not go back for biomedical engineering,
But
I mean, that's what it,
it's pretty good from like here, because it was either at first when we started working to it.
You ready? Alright, first, start with introductions. I'm Tyler Culverson. First I wanna thank you guys, Collegiate 100, for inviting me to come speak to you guys. Especially for our people of color. I'm very passionate about talking financial literacy, money. Not even just to, have conversations, but just to pick brains, be open-minded about talking finances. I know for me, I'm a branch manager for Collegiate, hence why you see Collegiate. But I'm also Black, as you see, obviously. I didn't grow up with a trust fund. I didn't grow up with my parents making millions, shoot, not even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we weren't talking money in my house. It wasn't until I got out in the world that I started learning what money is and how important it is, and So long story short, I'm a branch manager for Collegiate. Been in my role for them about 2 months now. Banking background started in about 2019. Before that, went to Collegiate University. Had dreams of being something in business. Business guy, business administration, business management, all type of business, whatever. Had some bumps in the road financially. Ended up going to different industries, fashion, food. Shoot, I even did marketing, call centers. So been in so many industries trying to figure out what I want to do. Ended up landing in a BankWorks program called BankWorks, actually. There's like 18 of them all over the country in all the major cities. And I basically found the industry that I could get on board with, that I was passionate about, and that I was good at. So long story short, I translated what I do for the credit union, and I turned it into, I have my little side business as well, where I'm a mobile notary, I'm a loan officer, I sit on 2 boards for nonprofits, more to come. I teach financial literacy workshops to nonprofits, schools, and also have a financial literacy podcast that I started, trying to keep up. I study industries now, so obviously everything in tech is where the money's at. And then the pandemic taught us we're going to learn which industries are going to thrive no matter what is going on in the country, and we'll learn which ones are going to fold as things like that happen. All the businesses that closed up shop. So I say all that to say, as you guys are about to transition out into the world, I consider you're already part of the world, but as you start having other responsibilities outside of just what you do for school, just want to get you in the mindset of what that's going to look like. So before, that's kind of enough about me. Before we get into what I want to talk about, and you guys already have your packet, it's called, we're going to talk about budgeting, and we're going to talk about credit. While I already believe, as grown adults, you have some semblance of what that is, I'm not going to treat you like an adolescent and act like you don't know. But what I do want to do is talk about real world implications that you may not have faced yet. So before I do that, I just want to know where everybody's at as far as, how do I want to put this? As far as what you already do in your individual life. So I'll use myself as an example. Horrible with money, bad credit score back in the day. When I was in college, I basically didn't even budget. I didn't care about where my money was going. Never even really crossed my mind on what my money was being spent on. I knew I had a certain limit for the food hall. I knew tuition was covered by so many grants and all that other stuff. What else? And that was pretty good. That was my whole thought process, if I'm being honest with you. Nowadays, social media is more prevalent. So therefore, you're getting some type of financial person on TikTok, Snapchat, giving you some type of, oh, you should do this, you should do that. But long story short, if anyone's brave enough, where are you at from let's just start with budgeting. Where are you at from a budgeting standpoint? Is there an app you use? Let's start with that. Do you have a bank account? And I'm pretty sure you do. But what is your education level like with your bank account? Do you know how much interest you get on your savings account? Who do you bank with?
I do online banking. I had USA before, but they never did like nothing almost on your like savings stuff, and I ended up moving to the online one.
Okay. Anyone else care to share?
I don't know, and I got $0 in my savings account. I think with JP Federal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would just say this isn't to cast aspersions on you. It's really just so we're all can drop our defenses and say, you know, because I'm very open and blunt. Those of you who are at the golfing, you know, like I'm not shy. I really don't, you know. So it's really just because at the end of the day, we all got certain hurdles and things we go on in life that contributes to why things the way they are. So I know for me, I had my first bank account truly was. I had when I was little, but I didn't know how to take care of it. It was with Citizens, and I think I ended up 10 years later winning a lawsuit because they were just overdrafting your account for months and months and months. So my first true bank account wasn't until 2017 at Dollar Bank when I actually started learning how important a bank account and what relevance it actually has. So I ask you that question just because it starts there when we're talking about financial literacy. You have to have some semblance of understanding of how you get money, what you're gonna do with that money, where you're gonna keep your money. Most people, you're not keeping your money in your house for obvious reasons. Let that house catch on fire. Let somebody break in your house. That money's gone. So for those obvious reasons, that's why banks have relevance. Outside of that, so safe to say, 2 of you know about credit unions? Or all of you know about credit unions. Okay. But you know about banks. Yeah. Okay. So the biggest difference between credit unions is we're not governed by the FDIC. We have our own. It's called NCUA, National Association of Credit Unions. Each credit union, your Navy, Federal, they have different criteria for you to be a member. Collegiate, you just have to live, work, or worship in Allegheny County, Beaver County, or Butler County. That's really our only criteria. We're a nonprofit organization. So with that being said, we offer the same services that a bank does, but credit unions have some benefits, some pros. Everybody has pros and cons, but we just have some subtle differences. So we're mostly known for like auto loans, but when you start learning about rates, interest rates, that's where those things play a factor. I always try to tell people it's fine to have a bank, but you should also look at a credit union because they can offer you different things that a bank can, and vice versa. Me personally, I have 5 banks and I have 3 credit unions, all for different reasons. But it's all about relationship, especially, let's say, it's safe to say, is anyone, again, if you don't want to share, is anyone here in school on a free ride? Okay. So it's safe to say right now, your tuition is your most major expense in your life. Everybody driving a car. Safe to say that's your next biggest expense, correct? No? Free car? Oh, okay. I mean, you had it again.
I don't pay for mine, my dad does.
I had it again. So if you don't have those wonderful situations, that would be your next biggest. And then what's the last one? The third? Y'all know.
Credit card bill?
The next thing in your life, that's the next biggest purchase.
Oh, like a
House,
permanent.
yeah. Is anybody sitting on a house right now? Okay. So those are the 3 biggest ones. Obviously your education, car, and then house. 3 major purchases you're gonna have in your entire life. Fortunate enough, I have all 3. Education's been taken care of, but house and car is still over here. So when you understand those biggest things, we have, because when you start talking about financial literacy, all it is simply put, you can Google it, is just knowing what your options are to do with your money, in a general sense. So where do you start? You start with your needs and wants. You start with what's the most important thing you're going to take care of no matter what. Cell phones. Mine's is recording, but you all have your cell phones. Just throw out a price that you pay for your phone, if you pay for your phone. I'll start. Mine was about $1,200. iPhone 12 I got. Who got the 15? Who's balling? You got the 14? You got the 11? Okay. A month, that should go. But you gonna pay it every month, right? Yeah. Yeah. So then when we start talking about bills, that's like it's essential thing you're gonna take care of. You're not going without your phone. You're not going without internet. You're not going without food, and that stuff adds up. So before we get into budgeting, and again, I'm not gonna go verbatim. It's gonna be very much us talking back and forth. How many of us are actually budgeting right now?
I think when the dog went outside, but
You make money, right? You got some money coming in right now, right?
sometimes on my send something, but I'll put it in my savings. I guess I can just.
All right. How do you budget?
Well, I'm up here, so I don't do work, but when I do work, I'll put that up for like, if I need something later, or like, before I came to school, I made sure I had like money so that, cause I didn't know how my classes were gonna be, if I was gonna be able to work or not, so I put up money just like.
And when I talk about budget, like even if you're not working or have a steady income, you're getting some form of money, right? Like it may not be regularly as a job, but hey, your mom come visit you, she drop you $500. $500. I'm sorry. I know. I was like, hold on. I was like, oh no, that's not this real. But you're getting money in at some point.
So like, I'll save some, spend some.
Okay. Now, how do you? So how do you track what you're doing? Is it just as simple as I put it in the bank and then I follow my balance?
Yeah.
Okay. Same. Okay.
Sometimes I'm like, if I have, because I'm just administrating my savings, if I need something, I'll take a certain amount out, and then I'll just leave a certain amount left in the savings and not touch.
And truth be told, for the most part, that's how, especially generational, that's how everybody's doing it right now. I'll put it in, my bank tells me how much I got, how much I spent that month. Like, they're basically, online banking is set up. How y'all ladies doing? Just trickle in. I'll give you a brief introduction to who I am. Tyler Culverson, I'm with Collegiate. I'm a branch manager, and I basically teach financial literacy, so that's what we're talking about today. Budgeting is what we're talking right now. If you grab a packet, you can try to get caught up. We haven't even really started, but just look for the one that says budget. So right now I'm just trying to get an understanding of where people are with how they do their budgeting right now, if you do any budgeting. So Sydney right now, basically, and then the three others agreed that they get money, put it in the account, and they just check as it either dwindles, then they get some more money. So, and there's nothing wrong with that, but the only thing I would say is it works for you right now because you don't have a ton of responsibility. Safe to say.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for anyone.
I did try to use a budgeting app. I forget what it's called, like Mint or something. But I feel like when you try to use a budgeting app like that, they expect you to have like a circling income. So when I did do it, they're like, oh, you're not getting any income. You're redoing this, and this.
It discouraged you a little bit?
Yeah, it was like kind of pointless because I was like, well, I don't have like, I get like a little allowance like every 2 weeks, but I'm like,
Right.
it's like $100.
Right.
It is money. It is money. But
Yeah.
it just didn't like. I feel like I would get more of the effect if I had a job getting like a.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, truth be told, there's nothing wrong with that, because that's where you're at in life right now. Again, I'm a husband, I got a job, I got 2 businesses, I got a 4, you know what I mean? I have a lot more going on, so therefore our situations are vastly different. My ladies in the back. Here. Okay. Do you budget?
No.
No? Okay.
Hard to.
And I'm sorry, what's your names?
Oh, so no.
Also,
No, Sola.
Sola, okay, I'm sorry, my apologies. I love it.
Jordan.
Jordan? Okay, Sola and Jordan, awesome. So you don't budget, how much did your phones cost?
How much is my what?
How much did your phone cost?
My phone what?
Your
Your
phone.
My phone.
Your
cost-
cell phone? Yeah.
I don't know. My dad got for me. Y'all.
Okay, so you living good?
No, not.
Same?
Yeah.
So you're basically caught up to where we're at. I just want to see where everybody's financial situation looks like without actually asking you how much you got in your bank account. Needs and wants is the bare basics of financial literacy. You understand that you have a cell phone, you have tuition, you have a card, etc. Those are things that no one has to question whether or not you're going to pay them or not. I already know you're going to pay them, or you're going, or your life's going to look a little different. So with that being said, you already said you don't budget. I basically want to know what resources you have at your disposal because, yeah, right now you might not have to budget, but how many seniors? Two. I don't want to disrespect to say you're not in the real world because you definitely are, but when we're talking about, when we're talking about starting to take up those three major purchases that everyone consumes in their life. You know what they are? And that's for Jordan too, it ain't just for you. Major. Yeah, so when we're talking about the three biggest purchases that the majority of the world has to.
Oh, like your house?
Yep. Car. And then you should know them. This one. Your education.
Oh, your phone?
No,
No,
where you at?
Your education.
No, but some people say education is not that important. I mean, some
No,
people-
like
No,
financial.
like-
I mean
Financially,
financially, I'm
like,
not talking about what you do. Yeah, no matter if you're dealing with an institution, you pass some money. Yeah. So with that being said, my goal is just to see where everybody's at, what your mindset is. Because right now you might be living a high life because you're not worrying about a ton of different responsibilities. But as you transition out of college, there's an uptick in how many people got credit cards? I ain't gonna ask. Is it good, bad? I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't want.
I'll be truthful.
And I'll just take your no response as a response. Because y'all didn't do either one, so okay.
There's a question.
Oh, I mean, hey, 18 years old, they already hitting your mail with you got credit card. So yeah, they don't care if you senior or not. So yeah. So we'll dive into this here. I got a good sense of where everybody's at financially somewhat. Obviously, we start talking about budgeting. The number one thing is savings. I think everyone has a savings account. Okay. And then, does everyone have a good understanding of what their savings account is for? I know you have one, but did you actually, in your mind, whether it's a joint account with you and your parents or it's your own account, did you actually tangibly tell yourself, I'm saving for this, X, Y, and Z? Did everybody do that? All right. If you want to share, you can. So I always start with myself. I don't ask a question that I can't give you. I'm saving, so I already have a house, I already have a car. I'm saving not only to give my wife a wedding, like we're married, but we didn't actually do the wedding we wanted. I'm saving for that, and then I'm also saving for a second house. So I literally have multiple accounts for different things. I have one savings for our wedding savings, and I have another for our whatever house we're gonna purchase next. Anyone else care to share?
I actually make it y'all.
Oh, nice.
So I was saving for a car.
Okay.
So I got my car in March.
Yeah.
So
Oh, congrats. Yeah. Now what's the next goal? Because it don't stop.
the next goal is
House. Okay. Anybody else?
When I bank with like with the savings, they have like you can make a whole separate like group, like and name it like specific to whatever goal you're trying to reach. And I set it around like 20,000 for like an apartment that way. It's like it covers a certain like time frame, so it's not like just you just started it, you
Right.
need furniture stuff like that. So I like that.
Yeah. No, and so my main point is very simple. You're motivated by the things you care about. So, I'm sorry, your name? Brendan. Brendan wanted a car. So, let's be honest. Let's do a real world situation. And again, I don't know that this is his motive, but I'm pretty sure he got tired of getting on the bus, having a beautiful woman that he liked. She in a Toyota Camry, and he ain't got nothing. Again, I don't know that that's his motive, but he was motivated by something going on in his life to make him want to get a car. So I'm pretty sure he probably cut back on something. What you cut back on, they say, or was your mom's kicking?
I ain't cut back on nothing. I just went to work.
Hey, it's either grind harder or cut back, either one. So he made adjustments to fit his needs and wants to make sure, oh, I want this car, I want it by this date. I'm either going to not spend as much or I'm going to make more money. It's as simple as that. Anybody else care to share? Nope. All right. So, all in all, if you have your savings account, that's what it's going to be. You need to designate why you're saving. If it's to pay off tuition, if it's to buy a house, car, what have you, you just need to identify what that is. Couple saving points. It's about, at the end of the day, it's about discipline. The people, the have and have nots, are about those who are serious about obtaining their goals and who are disciplined to obtain it. And those who don't hit their goals and don't get what they want, they don't. It's as simple as that. So it's just your mindset. When we're talking about saving, a few of you are already saving, and one of you hit on a key point where, or I think it was Sydney, you basically, when you get some money, you delegate it to your bank account. Now, how thoroughly do you go through your online banking? Do you look at your monthly statements?
No, but I look at it like every day.
Okay, so like, I'd be like, how's your balance? You be able to tell me your balance, right? So when we're looking at whoever you bank with, obviously they give you monthly statements. They give you a tracker of how many deposits and credits you had going in and out of your account. Do any of you use that to your advantage, or is it just still as simple as I put it in, swipe them card, that debit, and then I watch it go up and down? Okay.
Yeah.
No, and again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that to disparage you. I'm really just saying that that's where you're at in your life right now. But I would just be careful that as more responsibilities, kids, wife, husband, credit cards, the more stuff that comes on your plate, it's going to be a little hard to do it like that when you got different days, tasks that you got to get completed, and it won't be as simple as I'm putting it in, taking it out, putting it in, taking it out. You got to actually start paying attention to what interest rates you're getting on your savings account. Are you getting interest on your checking account? All the banks, all the credit unions, they offer similar products. The difference is, one, the relationship you have with that. How many of you actually have a relationship with your bank? I mean, that's a start. And why I say that is because a lot of times there are, like, most people just want to be able to put money in, take money out, cash my check. You want the very simple stuff that banking and credit unions offer, which is fine. But when you start, any entrepreneurial or future business owners in here? Anybody plans to? Does everybody have plans to buy a house at some point in their life? Does everybody have plans to buy a car at some point in life, or a new car, or a better car than what you got now? So with that being said, wouldn't it be easier to start a banking relationship with not just the bank, just the institution, but someone at that institution, so that way that transition is easier for you? How many of you know how to start the borrowing process when it comes to getting a car loan, getting a mortgage? Did anybody know that? Okay. So, and again, this is not to disparage you. It's really just to get your mind thinking, at some point, I will be there. Why not already know how it works before I get there? So when we're talking about a relationship, what that looks like, and I'll just use me as an example. Yeah, I'm a banker at Collegiate. People come to me, they want to talk about whatever their needs are, wants are, but it doesn't just stop at me learning information about them. I have several business owners who I buy their product. I promote their business. I have several teachers that teach out of school. They want to help their kids be better with financial literacy. They literally will ask me, hey, can you come speak to our kids? Nonprofit. So that's when I'm talking about relationships, like some getting more out of this, hey, I'm gonna bring you $10,000, can you put it in my account? That's the bare minimum institutions do for you. But having a true relationship is being able, there's so many of my customers or members, they have my cell phone number in their phone. They can literally call and ask me a question. And I'm not saying you're gonna get that relationship with every institution you deal with, but if I'm really gonna be dealing with you like that, we should be able to call on each other. So that way if something happens to Mr. Smith's account, I'm gonna blow him up like, hey, Mr. Smith, did you make this $10,000 withdrawal? Hell no, I ain't do that. And now I can try to help him out on my end, and he's still covered in. So how many times has anyone had a situation where you dealt with your institution and you were like, hold up, this wasn't me. I didn't spend, Amazon just got me for, $200. I didn't buy this. Never had that situation. Oh, you did? Okay. And how simple was the process for you? Was it just, I'm calling my bank, or were you aggravated? Just
So there was like a random purchase over in like Paris or something.
yeah.
And
you know you ain't been to no Paris.
Yeah. So I deal with Dollar Bank. So
Yeah.
Dollar Bank
I'm
will
very
send you
familiar.
like a text and be like a fraud
That's what
alert.
Yeah.
But it automatically declines the payment because I have with my phone.
Right.
It won't make a purchase if my phone is not there.
Gotcha.
It will automatically decline.
Right. I got you. Which is great because, so you guys have the advantage of you're utilizing all the technology that all the institutions pay millions of dollars for. But I'll be honest, there's some people who might be a mom and dad or in that realm. They don't want to deal with all the AI and all the new tech that's coming out. But you have those advantages at your disposal. So you know how to jump on your app. If you lose your card, turn it off, right? So that's the advantage you have. But when we start talking about Zelle, Cash App, how many of you got a relationship with them other than you have their app? I already knew the answer to that because they make it damn near impossible for you to know they don't even have a customer service line as far as I'm concerned. You gotta try to chat your way up to them. So, but they also don't offer you things that you're gonna need as far as a house, car, they don't do it. So at some point when you're talking about having those major purchases, that relationship can serve you very well when I've followed you since you were 18 or even younger, and I'd be like, oh, this person has always been responsible with their money. This person has always took care of their responsibilities as far as credit, borrowing, all that. So then when you come, when I start talking about car loans, house loans, we have something to talk about because now I know who you are. So those are just things you need to keep in mind. And then there's such thing as, are you familiar with blind loyalty? Was there a reason why you chose to bank with us or your mom? Okay.
It was like, when I was
Right.
16.
Okay.
Just like that.
Right. Is there a reason why you chose to be Navy Federal?
Well, Navy Federal, you have to do like
Yeah, you have to have some military. Yeah.
My grandma, like my grandparents, and she started an account. I think I was 16 too.
Okay. And is there a reason why you chose dollar? Or
Originally I had like a joint account with my mom and then
so it's safe to say 9 times out of 10, your parents are the ones who shaped who you were going to bank with, and that's fine because that's very common. But what I would say is not that I would develop your own reason why you're with that institution at some point. Doesn't have to be today. But I would reassess why your money is where it is. Because, and I'm a firm believer, I'm not here to sell Allegiant or make you believe that. I'm really here just to sell you on opening your mindset to think why you make some of the decisions you make. And from the standpoint of having a bank, a credit union, they all do the same thing at some point. The difference between the ones that you should value and the ones you shouldn't is how they treat you. Same way you pick Chick-fil-A, Dunkin' Donuts, wherever, any other restaurants you like that I'm not naming, which I got on campus. I know you got Starbucks, right?
That's it.
Oh, that's all, damn. Oh, that's all I got, okay. Well, short of you having a lack of options, you want to really, and this is just, if you take nothing else from this, I would say, I would assess, the same way you choose whether you want to date somebody or not date somebody, The same way you choose you want to marry somebody, you don't want to marry somebody. Always be assessing that relationship and why you even have it. Because any other institutions can hold your money, but at some point, you're going to be growing, developing, evolving into a whole nother person, you know, in that sense. So why am I, yeah, you were cool when I was 16, 18, but now I need money for this. I need you to give me a better interest rate for that. I need you to show me that you're worth me keeping my money here. So, and I never say you that there's a perfect institution. It doesn't exist. They all have pros, they all have cons. So what I did was, I have a relationship with about 5, 6 different ones. I know they can't help me here. Cool, no problem. I'm cool with, who's the bank I use? Capital One. Okay. I'm cool with Capital One. I'll go talk to my man Johnny. See if he can hook me up. So I don't get mad when this one tells me they can't help me. I go right to where I know I can get help. And it's a revolving door. How many of you, because I know it's that time, do y'all get mails directly to here or does it go to your house? Okay. So, well, if you were at home right now, I assure you, you'd be getting letters from Chase, Citizens, Dollar, First National, and what do they all say? Come up in a checking account, we give you 600, 500, 200, 300. Has anyone ever thought about why they do that? That's a way you can look at it. I mean, two things can be true. So that's part of it. But also, have you ever thought, so I'll be honest, here's what I don't want to sound racist. Here's what people who understand how the game works, and I'm not just talking about the game of life, but the financial industry game. They understand that if I have you as our primary, if all your money that you earn, whatever that is, a job, Social Security, whatever you get, if you have that at my institution, that means you're gonna be using our products very frequently, right? So every time they're giving you that $600 promotion, it's not just, oh, you bank with us, I'm giving it to you right there and there, right? They're gonna put that in your account once you fulfill the requirements. So they all do it. And one of my customers from a long time ago put me on game. I'll sign up to get the $600 First National Bank offer and I'll move my direct deposits. I gotta keep it in there for at least 6 months to a year. I'll get my 600, and then if the account is serving me a purpose, I'll keep it. If it doesn't, I'll close it, and I've already got my $600. And then I'll go back to whoever else I had. And you laugh, but it's a smart way to earn money without you actually doing that, and then just moving where you put your money. And again, I probably, in the industry I'm in, I probably shouldn't even be telling you. But I believe in keeping it 100, and if you can start understanding why some of the things are being done the way they're done, you can easily, I will tell you what I did. Had me a little part-time job at the airport for Avis, just because I'm trying to save for me and my wife's wedding, and we paid off a ton of credit card debt. I was working like 2 days a week there. Set me up a direct deposit, just enough to hit their minimum requirement. Got me an extra $200-300 from their promotion off a part-time job I was doing. Then I got like 2-3 other side hustles. So you can divvy up your direct deposits to different accounts. So now once you meet the requirements, if you like the bank, stay with them. If you don't, boom, close it out. You done made $200-300 you can put in a savings that you didn't need to touch, making your money work for you. You're gonna put it in the bank anyway. Who said you gotta keep it with one bank? Most people have, and that's what I say, blind loyalty. You basically got your institution just because your mama told you to. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I wouldn't spend my life, I'm staying with y'all because my mom been with y'all. If you don't truly love the relationship, reassess it. So, any questions on that? So I covered a lot about savings. How many coffee drinkers in here? Habitual or just? Okay. I'm habitual. So if you jump to, and I know I skipped a lot, but if there's anyone that you really, I think you all got my point about needs versus wants, right? Mm-hmm. Anything you can't live without as far as a food product. Like Like I'm coffee, 2 coffees, chicken. Okay. Would you say you Chick-fil-A? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a need there. All right, so we'll use coffee example. Who would you say is the most expensive coffee brand out there?
Starbucks.
Exactly. That's the number one answer. But surprisingly, they're fine with that because they know you won't pay it regardless. And I was the biggest culprit. It used to be Starbucks. I've now switched to Dunkin'. But now, when I know I got 2 goals in mind, trying to get a second house, trying to save for a new wedding. If I keep spending coffee, and these prices don't even make sense. Nowadays, Dunkin' is, and I know there's stuff to the T. I think for a large coffee, which I get, is just under $3, like 2 cents under $3. 5 times a week. That's most months average 30 days. Do the math to a year. That adds up. And I'll go by the example here. Let's just say I spend $432 per year. We know that doesn't. How much, if you don't mind, how much is your monthly car payment, if you don't mind sharing, if you do that?
What insurance on this car?
Just your car payment. 6 9? Oh, you got a nice car. Oh, okay. So, yeah. And that wasn't the like, but. I appreciate you sharing. Yeah, I was like, okay. I thought he was gonna say something lower, but it is what it is. Like, let's just say, if we're going by this example, and we know these numbers are not accurate. You're basically spending a monthly car payment in 1 year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So while I need my fix of coffee, and I just need it just to get me through the day. Like I just need 1 cup of coffee. Otherwise, I don't like talking to people anymore. So it's a need for me. I'm not gonna stop drinking. But what I can do is alter where I'm spending my money. So my wife bought me a Keurig. Now I'm popping one of those K-Cups. That number looks way better at the end of the month when I'm budgeting. I'm like, oh, I went from, damn, I done spent $500 this month just on coffee. Now I'm more like, it's probably $200. But as I start to see where my money is going, and I don't even need to ask you guys this question. I know you're not doing it. I know you're not seeing where your fix is. Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, whatever else you drink. I know you spending a lot of money there. You just don't know what that number is, right?
I mean, if I'm getting a reward for it, then I'm like,
No, that's fine. Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah, I go to Chipotle.
Yeah.
I got a little rewards. I have enough to
I
give me
mean,
a free meal.
no, but that's smart. You're spending your money where you know you're getting something back. You're still spending a lot of money. That ain't changing the fact, but you are getting something back. There's a reason why credit cards actually offer you a cash back feature. They want you to spend more money so you can get, you know what I mean? So once you understand that, it's really about making the decision. So you just gave me a perfect one. You choose Chipotle because they give you something back. I know pretty much all of them are changing to where get they app, you know what I mean? They all understand how that works. So that's the financial decisions that we're talking about when, oh, I'm not gonna go to mom and pop diner because I spend that money, I ain't getting nothing back. You consciously made that decision whether or not, you took an hour to decide it or 20 seconds. You consciously decided, oh, Chick-fil-A giving me a free drink with my purchase. I'm going to go spend my money there. Now, that doesn't mean at the end of the month, if you actually looked at how many times you went to Chick-fil-A, that you didn't spend $200-300 that month just on Chick-fil-A. But you can subtract, oh, they did give me, well, you would have to put a dollar value on how many little free drinks and bowls equate to. But it's a decision where as you start having more responsibilities, you can start to make sense of, all right, do I really need to go spend Chick-fil-A $200 this month? instead of just popping some ramen noodles in the microwave. And again, right now you have the luxury of it's not a huge burden for you if you don't make that decision. But at some point, it's going to be that way. I mean, as your parents, I'm sure they will. So, long story short, or you just might be well off where it ain't. Yeah, I mean, hey, we all got those aspirations, but until then, but even then,
I try to live myself.
yeah, even then, you still like it don't matter how much level of money you got.
Yeah.
You spend it too wild, you ain't gonna have it. So, that being said, you already are consciously thinking of how you spend your money. It's really just understanding: is there a better way I can still get what I need without breaking the bank at the end of the month? $200-300 when I already designated I'm trying to knock my tuition down. I'm trying to knock my car note off. I'm trying to buy a house. Let me go and alter how I'm doing my spending of my money so I can start putting more in the bank. Any questions on that? Cool. How many other than phone bills? Anybody else have a different bill?
I have a credit card bill.
You emphasize that. Anybody else? Credit card? Credit card? Okay. How do you go about deciding on, I know you probably make your minimum. How do you go about deciding on if I'm going to, have you ever, or I guess, better way to phrase it. Have you ever struggled with, oh, I gotta pay my cell phone or my credit card? Which one am I paying first? Again, if you care to share. If you don't, that's fine too.
Well, I don't pay my phone bill, so.
Oh, okay, so you have the
Yeah,
luxury.
I have the luxury.
Gotcha, okay. So you got, there you go. So right now, no one has a struggle or dilemma to be like, oh shit, my check was only $200, and now I gotta pay my credit card bill or my phone bill. I need them both, because if I don't pay my credit card, we already know what's gonna be the implications of that. You get that late payment, we gonna get into credit in a little bit. That credit score going down. It's gonna be impacted somehow. But if you don't make your phone payment, you and your boo ain't gonna be talking tonight. So, you know what I mean? So those are dilemmas that eventually you will run into. What are you gonna do? And it's all about financial decisions and choices you make. Now, whether you talk about it or you're conscientious of that you're making them is, that's up to you. Any questions on any of that? All right. So the only thing I would say, you mentioned the resources. The reason why I asked you guys about your phone, outside of calling and texting, is there anything significantly you do on your phone besides social media, the basics, social media, texting, and calling? What else do you use your phone for that has significance? Other than Google, because I know you probably Google stuff for studying and all that stuff. Is there anything else?
Email. So that's the family. So you know how when you bunch your apps up, it gives you like, oh, this is all health related. This is all. Does anyone have a finance app, or where you have your apps grouped to where it's all finances apps, other than your bank? Yeah.
Okay. So a few good ones. You already brought up Mint, and I kind of got why you were discouraged by that. Has anyone else heard of Mint? Good budget. Never heard of it? Okay. So actually, if you can grab your phone right now and just get on your app store. All iPhones in here? Yeah. Team iPhone? Okay. If you just pop on App Store, just type in budgeting or saving, and just give me the top 5 or 6 apps. Now, outside of this conversation, have you ever looked or searched for these apps?
Per head.
I mean, yeah, I didn't do that. And if I had to ask you why that is, can anybody give me an answer? Because it doesn't hold significance to you right now, right? So, what I would say to you is, if you're budgeting right now, you just don't know you're doing it. And if you're doing it, you don't know why you're doing it. And if you you don't know why you're doing it. You don't, in your mind, you're not cognitively, like, you're not focused on it enough to be like, oh, I need to budget for this or budget for that. Because right now you're in a good space. You're in a good, like, if I could trade, I won't say that. If I could reverse courses of some of my decisions at that point in my life, I would do so in a heartbeat because I definitely messed up. So what I would say is be cognizant now of what the next year, 2 years, 3 years are going to look like for you 4 years, once you graduated college. Because I know you all have, what do they call now, student advisors? Okay. So right now those conversations are probably just about what your future is going to be like once you know, again, correct me if I'm wrong because it's been some time. The same way you have that person, I would get you a financial advisor. If it's just your mom and dad, hell, you can take my information out. You know. Again, my goal is not to tell you what to do, it's to give you things to think about. So, the bank whoever you use as your financial institution, I would start to build a better relationship, ask them more questions. Right now, you go in there, they're talking to you, right? You're not talking to them. I would change that dynamic ASAP. Hey, my man's told me y'all could be giving me a better interest rate. Why aren't you? And I would talk to them talk how you talk, but I would talk to them just like that. And, you know, nice, because you get more, you know, they'll treat you better if you talk to them, you know what I mean? So, if nothing else, when I'm talking about budgeting and money with you, the only thing I want you to leave out is your parents pay a good pretty penny for these phones you got. Take advantage of all that it offers. We all familiar with ChatGPT? How many of you use it? Take advantage of the features, because you can literally, and again, I haven't done it successfully myself, but you can literally talk to it about, hey, structure, you know, you can put that, I think it's an algorithm you can put in. If y'all reach out to me, I'll send it to you. It's organization that does AI training taught me it. You could literally start the program to do a basic Excel sheet and have AI take the numbers you put in and create, you know, just a monthly, weekly spreadsheet for you to show you where your money is going. And again, whether you use these apps or not, it's up to you. But at some point, when more responsibilities, more bills come in, you're gonna have to have a better system than relying on some bank statements or relying on, you know, it tells you what you put in, what you take out. You need something more in depth. Plus, it'll go a long way for when you're dealing with trying to get a house, a car. You're gonna want to see what that spending looks like. Buying an apartment, credit score needs to be right, budgeting needs to be right. I talk to people about home ownership. They be like, "Damn, I can't afford to buy a house." Well, here, let me show you why. You and Chipotle's too, y'all. It's like y'all sex buddies. Y'all got too, yeah, that relationship ain't right. And so when you guys start thinking about those things, that's what you're gonna want to be mindful of. And again, there's no right or wrong way to budget. Specific to you, it's really just about understanding the basics, needs, wants, and how I'm gonna get to that goal. Do I need to alter or do I need to go make more money? And that's as simple as I can put it. Any questions? All right, bear with me. Let's talk credit and then we done. You got your credit packet? Credit. Alright. So we start with budget because, let's be honest, nobody's giving you credit if you don't make no money. I mean, if you didn't know that, I'm letting you know that. Credit is doesn't even matter. The process for you guys to get your credit cards. Just tell me if I'm wrong. Because there's multiple ways you can get it. Like, was it they sent you something and you was like, ooh? Or was it, I shop here, hey, we'll give you $20 off if you apply for this card? Or was it, man, you should get this credit card. One of your friends told you, get this credit card because I love it. Or they share, you know, you can share a credit card app, refer you. Which was it for you?
Neither.
Okay. How was it then?
it was, well, I got something in the mail. Well, my mom, she was like, oh, I think you should get one. She had already like kind of put me on her credit card to build my credit up before. And
Well, that's I'm pleasantly surprised because I mean, let's be honest, that's how our white counterparts are doing. So okay, so I'm happy. I'm clapping it up. All right, cool. So I was wrong. Great. I'm glad to hear it. I like to be wrong. So that is typically for our people how it goes down. Hey, I'm gonna get the young black kids in this community to jump on this credit card because they don't know shit about credit cards and they just gonna want it. Oh, that's $5,000 free money. PlayStation 5, Xbox, iPhone 15, the new J's. Bro, I got it. Next thing you know, what the what the is this? Or you six and you got a whole Rent-A-Center deal in your name.
You said 6?
Yeah, you're 6. Paris put you
No,
I mean,
I see a lot of that. Well, I
yeah,
don't
so,
see it,
and I say that, I say it jokingly, but 9 times out of 10, our credit is already balled up before we even say the word cut. So, it's awesome to hear that you guys got your credit cards by your parents being great parents, educating you and putting you on game. Nobody else has credit cards? Or curious?
My dad told me about it.
6. Okay, awesome. So that means you got some stability in the house and you got some people looking out for your best interest. There are people who don't have that. So one of the things we need to know about credit is not free money. I'm sure you already know that. Does anyone have if you want to share, again, it's not the being you did. Is anyone's tuition being taken care of by a loan? Even if you're not responsible for paying it right now. Okay. So, what was the biggest thing going on in the news this past few years? Biden getting us student, yeah. And that didn't turn out well, but so when those repayment dates hit, now it's like, all right, what am I going to do? And when we start talking about borrowing in any sense, you need to understand what you're actually looking at, what you're dealing with. Now, for most of you, credit cards is the most simplest way to start building your credit history, so you already good there. Based on thumbs up, thumb down earlier, most are good. Some are, Now, if you care to share, if you don't, so when you put thumbs down, is it a matter of the balance is just high, or it's a matter of you ain't been doing what you're supposed to do? Or is it a matter of you got a lot of them? Like,
No, I only got one. It's Discover.
okay.
My limit was low. It was like $500. Then my credit started to get good, and they put it up.
Okay.
And then.
And you went up with it.
But also, I was not too much like me just like spending like crazy, but it was just like I needed to make payments on something that was a little higher that I couldn't pay for just myself, so that it got higher.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. And that's all right. So obviously you understand at some point you have to pay that back, or it's going to have negative implications. Where right now, when we talk about credit, where's your education coming from? Is it as simple as I'm on TikTok scrolling and I got some of these credit gurus giving me advice? Is it mom and dad? Is it Snapchat, friends? Where is your knowledge of how you should handle credit cards coming from? And this is just a curiosity question.
Parents and then, Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
My dad and my older sister.
Or, I mean, just like who's in your ear, like, if anybody, if nobody's in your ear, nobody's in your
I
ear.
usually do my own research.
Okay, that's perfect too. Ladies, don't think y'all gonna be back there, I ain't gonna call them. Okay, I mean, that's not where you're at right now, that's cool. At some point when you get one though, just, alright, cool. So I asked that because I'm a firm believer, you should it's not wrong with getting multiple dots, feedback from multiple sources. But at the end of the day, your research needs to be the utmost before you go pull a trigger on anything. Because honestly, I try to tell people it's not hard to have a good credit score. It's literally Google knowledge to tell you the 3, 4, 5 main things that they look at for you to have what you need to do to have a good credit score. Obviously, your situation and the time of your life is going to dictate, how quickly you get there. That plays a factor. I just bought a house. My stuff was pretty good. Bought that house. That thing went down. So I don't get bothered by the fluctuation of credit. But what you should be paying attention to is the utilization of that thing. Do we all know the number of
Under 30.
Did you know that? The people who talk the least is the ones I need. I just want to know what you know.
So like,
Because if you ain't saying that, that means you don't know much. So I need to make sure you know. You heard him say 30? All right. What'd you say?
no, they were asking 30.
I mean, yeah, that's a, yeah. And again, it's all based on the limit. So, I'm assuming you ladies don't have a credit card yet? Okay. At some point you will though, right? Do you know what the best type of card you should get? Okay. Yeah. Oh, I love you. Start to write this down. So the best way and most recommended is to start yourself off with a secure card. A secure card. Secure. One of my credit card holders, do you know what that is? Okay. So, you guys have the privilege of having parents who put you on game. Hey, I'm gonna throw you on my card as authorized user. It's gonna reflect that you know what I mean. For those who that's not the case, you wanna look at a secure card, which is basically you take a set amount of money, put it in a savings account, they freeze that, and then they give you a credit card. So let's say $300. That $300 you put in, they already got that money. So let's say happenstance, you ain't gonna pay this back. You're not worried. You already got your money. But in order for us to give you this card, we already got your money, so now we're comfortable giving you money. Unsecured is what she got, $5,000, $10,000. Here you go. Spend it wisely. So that's the difference. Understand? Okay. So to start off, you would want to have one of those cards because you need to understand whether you're going to be responsible with the credit card or not. Do any of you know what your interest rate is on your credit card? Yeah, that's to make you feel good. What's that? Yeah. I would look into that. So, I'll use. I would make sure it's still low because they start low.
Okay.
They start low. So my capital, I'll use my capital one because I got 3 of them boys. They're 32% right now.
32%
Interest.
Is that a good thing or not?
That's bad.
You don't want them to
So debit cards are good. That's your money. Credit cards, I'm not gonna say they're bad. It's not your money per se. They should be used for emergencies, trips. It should be used wisely, is what I'll say. Because they're not bad. I don't ever want to get them.
So like 32%, is that like
So that's
every purchase that you make, you have 32% interest rate on the money?
tells me the balance. So I'll give you an example. I think right now I have like maybe $200 balance on just this past month. So that is, if I don't make this payment on X date, or if I don't make it by the due date, they're adding the equivalent of 32% to whatever my balance is. I'm not a mathematician.
So basically, if you don't pay.
It's gonna be 32% interest on tacked onto that $200 balance.
Okay.
Correct.
See?
See? And I love that y'all pulled them boys out. Yeah. Check. That's why your phone is handy. These are things you need to know. So I say all that to say, when you start establishing credit, you want to know the ins and outs, the nuts and bolts of what you're signing up for. Your Macy's, your JCPenney's, your Kohl's, those boys, their interest rates won't be high. But because they anticipate that you're not going to spend your money, you're not going to read the fine print. And let's be honest, most of us don't. So that's how they get you. And if you don't use that thing responsibly, now that high credit card bill you got is growing. Yeah, you're just making your minimum payment, but you're really not putting a dent into what you got.
Not only that, but some of them have like go straight up lie to your face and say it's not a credit card, but I mean, like, cause I worked in retail, and I remember having to push them before, so I was like,
That's crazy.
they straight up tried to lie, and then they were like, okay,
28. And exactly. Why is it so hard to find? Yeah.
I don't have insurance.
So value, right? Yeah. So.
I don't pay the fee, I pay the.
Question,
Never
yeah.
pay just.
What's a good interest on the card, on the credit card?
low.
I mean, so if I'm being honest, that is a good answer because let's be honest, there's X amount of institutions, there's X amount of credit cards that each one of them offer. So the number of options you have are vast. But at the end of the day, where you're winning is if you know 28% is high, oh, well, hey, we going in the wrong direction. Bruh, give me around 10, 15. Now, in order for you to make, so I would say research, understand who's doing what. I'll use my company as an example. Right now, we're offering 0% on balance transfer. So I'll leave y'all with the promotion before I leave. If you're in. So that means if you have a high 28% balance, oh, let me go apply for this credit card because I can move that balance over here at 0% for a year. Now, all I'm doing is making payments, getting that thing down. But I discovered, cause y'all killing me with the interest. Now that balance is moved to her 0% card, and she knocking that boy off, getting it down. Because you keep a high balance with them, they hitting you 28% every month. Unless you're making additional payments, you're not winning. Yeah, you made your payment, but you have not put a dent in that thing. All right. So a couple more points, guys, and then we're done. So we talked about house, education, and cars, right? The 4 C's of credit is what the institutions are looking at when they deal with you. So obviously, when you go to a bank, they want to know everything about you, right? So, birthday, where you live, everything. Now, part of the reason is for national security safety, but the other reason is we need to know as much about you to prevent fraud. So, while that can be discouraged to people that, damn, you know all this about me, it also can be helpful so that way when you go to borrow money, there's that relationship I talked about. Oh, I know Sydney, she cool as hell. She worked her way through school, got her a nice little job teaching kids at whatever school. Her and her dude about to buy a crib. Hey, let's go ahead and talk to Sydney about getting her mortgage set up. Futuristic Sydney, not yeah. Let's go ahead and let's talk to Sydney about trying to get her, $200,000-$300,000 mortgage so she can buy the house of her dreams. So what they're looking at, collateral, capital, capacity, and then your character. I can literally, assuming our relationship that long, I can literally be like, oh, Sydney has a great character. We can tell by her financial statements. She's not a habitual overdraft person. She ain't never defaulted on the loan. So these are some of the things, and always for our people, man, we go into a bank and we like begging. No, you want to be able to like, bro, I already know my credit score is good. Bro, I already know my debt to income is good. This is what I need. All I need to know is the particulars. And that's the point where we need to start getting to that. You can literally know the equation of what lenders are looking for before you go into any institution. Credit Karma gives you an indication of where your score is at. It's not the end all be all. But tell me what's the difference between a 735 and a 725? Because have you ever, let's flip to the range page of credit scores. If it's in here.
So what do you think I was about Credit Karma or like the opportunity you should get?
Well, if you have.
I would go by your actual credit card.
I mean, I got credit.
I'll be honest, they all have merit. Like that's why I said I wouldn't even care. Like I don't care that my score is 725. What I care about is I'm in the 700s to 750 range. That's what I care about. Now if I drop out of that range, now I'm worried because they don't go by. Oh, you're a 735, so I'm gonna give you a better rate than somebody with a 725. That's not like your score is just it's minute in the grand scheme of things because it's a range. So if you go to this chart here, it's giving you the range. So if you being a 400 credit score, is that more worse than you being a 480? It's still bad. so it's not, yeah. So when people use, and then to be honest, any borrower you're dealing with, they have their own algorithm that decides what your score's gonna come back as anyway. It's just to give you a barometer. Like, and then we all know the three credit bureaus.
Trinity, Spirit,
Yep. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
All right. Make sure you take one. All right. No, I'm serious. Because you don't have a card yet, I want you to be educated on game so that way this stuff isn't foreign to you. How many of us know about annualcreditreport.com?
I heard of it up there.
I mean, I need you to do more than hear about it. And honestly, I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful, but I'm passionate about making sure we're winning. And it does not hurt you to go on there once a year, look at all 3 of your credit reports and see what's actually showing up. Because, yeah, you have a credit card now, great. That's not gonna be the end of what you get. So if you can attack and understand what's on your credit report, you can't be touched. So a lot of times people think, oh, I'm gonna go open me another Macy's card, boost my credit availability up. And I'm like, that's not always the answer. Why don't you pay off Verizon who you go about $200-300 to try to get them to get you a dispute letter saying they'll remove that off your credit report, you win it. Because yeah, your credit score is fine. That's just part of the equation on whether somebody wants to let you borrow money or not. It's not we're too fixated on credit scores as people, and I'll be honest. So anytime I get the opportunity to share, hey man, quit worrying about your credit score being, I don't want to say it's not important, it is. But don't be fixated on, damn, I'm not at a 725. I mean, who is when they buy a house? That's something, most people you see who got a real high, great credit score is either they're older in life, all their big purchases have been long past them, or you, for lack of a better word, you've had fluence your whole life, and mom and dad, which is more of our people we need to do, they basically set you up to where you're 18, your credit score is 850. Obviously, we want that to be the latter for all of us, but that's not realistic. So, at the end of the day, when you start talking about understanding financial literacy, this is a key part of it. Understanding why your social is being attached to everything that you put your name on. Understanding that if you don't make a payment, it can significantly hinder where your credit score goes. Obviously, right now, those decisions are not at the forefront of your mind, but very soon they will be. So then when you start thinking about the student loans you got, and you go try to deal with a bank to, hey, I'm trying to pay off my student loans, can I do a debt consolidation? Hey, we'll give you this money to pay off your student loans, but it's gonna be 28%. And now you can look at them and say, what the hell are you talking about? I'm good. And that's where our people are at a disadvantage, because we going in there and we like, oh, you gonna give me my $10,000 to pay off my student loan debt? 28%? Done. Never once thought about, hey, is that good? Earlier you thought that was good in the right way, right? So, yeah, so this is, you know, this is the crux of what we're talking about. And since you guys are, you know, adults, I don't need to deep dive into that anymore because it's imperative that, I mean, you already had a conversation we've had earlier, I already understand the value of credit. I can tell that by just the feedback I'm getting from you. The only thing I would say is just be very diligent about what you're putting your name on, why you're getting it, what you're doing with it, because right now I think you can't even get an apartment without them running your credit score. Understand, like try to find, if that's an option, try not to understand the impact that's gonna have. Because a lot of times we're just making decisions because we want something expeditiously. We don't feel like having time to go search at something else. Hey, no, I ain't gonna do that. Or we're using Self, or we're using some of these other technology apps, but we're not really doing research. Oh, they tell you, hey, don't let you use your, you pay your rent bill, they'll start to report that on your credit report. And you just blindly agreeing that that's what's gonna happen, but they know you ain't even gonna check your damn credit report. Cause when I walk in the room, one of the first questions, do you know what annualcreditreport.com is? Nope. So then how do you know what's actually on your credit report? Because other than you paying for it, that's the only way you getting it free. Yeah, credit-wise, and some of these other companies give you, like, you know, but they don't give you your full credit report. They giving you what you got with them, and some other stuff that they might see on. So, long story short, that's the significance. Any questions, concerns, thoughts? Silence is golden. And then lastly, I'll leave you with this. If you're not in my phone already, I urge you to do so. It's not a hindrance to me to be able to just answer a question for you via text. At the end of the day, I'm proud of you guys all being in college, being successful. So it pours onto my heart to want to make sure I can do the bare minimum. Hey, I'm about to go do this. What you think? Yeah, you're a grown ass person, man or woman. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I'm saying, hey, think about this. Look at this. Because I want to see, you know, where you guys go from there. Also, if you have not checked out my podcast, actually, if you can pull your phone up right now, who's Spotify? If you get on Spotify, Financial Literacy with TC. Last episode I just did was about loans, actually. Me and my boy Clarence Jones.
Y'all have any questions or anything? No? Alright, thanks Tyler so much for coming.
For sure. I hope I was impactful to you. My goal was not to bore you to death, but to make financial literacy make sense to you and your specific situation. So that's why I barely looked at the sheet. Because once I got a sense of the room, I was like, all right, they know some stuff. I don't need to, I don't need to go slide by slide, but I do need to make sure you have a clearer understanding of the significance. So hopefully I was able to do that. If you didn't know anything, it would have been boring as hell and I would have been going slide by slide. But most of you guys have a good sense of where you're at, and hopefully I just gave you some more weaponry as you take the next steps.
Also, if anybody wants his number and you don't get it today, I do that.
I have all hit, we got all of your things.
So if you need anything, think about anything.
All I ask is just text me who you are, because I do deal with a ton of people.
And say from Robert Morris.
Yeah, just so I have some context, because my phone number is everybody can get it. It's on social media, so literally I screen every call. It's not that I won't answer, I just need to know who you are. And then if anybody is interested in this, let me know. If you need to know more about credit unions, let me know. I do Zoom calls, so we can jump on a Zoom and I can help you, because you can apply online. So if you want me to sit there with you while we screen share and we talk, then you know, I do that too. So.